Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well. I'm quickly going to speak about premature graying of hair. So as explained in my last video, I explained that our hair follicles will have a tiny microimmune system of their own going on. When we speak about hair and hair color and skin color, there is a pigment that is usually genetically predisposed to us. So if your mom has brown colored hair, there is a huge possibility that you have a brown colored pigment that is going to give you brown hair, and so and so. Okay, when we speak about premature graying of hair, it's not normal. Not every second person who is 21 years old is going to have premature graying of hair. So if you have it, it has a lot to do with the genes, definitely 100% yes. No one can take that away from you. So if your parents have a situation where they did start, where the graying of hair did start very early in their lifetime, there is a huge possibility that it's happening with you as well. And there is a huge possibility that you are nutritionally deficient. So my top two to look at would be your B12 and your copper levels. So B12, you don't want to be at 200, 100, 150, 300. That's not enough. That's not ideal. It's not optimal. It's just okayish. And I would like for you to be at say 600 to 700 pg per ml. That would be an ideal range for me. So if you do get a blood test done, you should look into this. Along with B12, copper is very, very important. Zinc is very important, selenium is very important, and just popping a pill that's going to have copper or zinc or selenium is not going to suffice if you are eating incorrectly and if your gut health is compromised, because your B12 and its absorption and assimilation, its transcription has a lot to do with the state of your gut. So you have to look at your B12 levels. Now what exactly happens is, so let's say we have a pigment that is giving us the color of hair and color of skin. The pigment will run out say every 2 to 4 years, and then your body will just rejuvenate and give it more, and the multiplication takes place, division takes place, and you get the pigment up until you are 40 and 50, until the body stops producing it entirely and the reservoir is runs out. So at the same time, let's say every 2 to 3 to 4 years, your stem cells can actually, they have the capacity, they are just below the hair follicles, and they actually have the capacity to put in some kind of cells that is going to help you with the division, and that is going to give the color of your hair. So in people who lose the color of their hair very quickly early in the age, it just means that there is problem in the reservoir and the body is not functioning correctly at the cellular level. Now stem cells, they don't really work in conjunction with the nutrition inside your body, but your hair follicles, your pigment, they do. And when you take supplements for such things, it is working very marginally. It's not really going to do a lot. And if there is problem with the genes, it's highly unlikely that something just from the external or application is going to help you, but I'm sure it's worth an attempt. Okay, speaking about that one thing that I really, so I can actually give you 2 tips. Okay, oxygen, enough breathing, doing pranayama, meditation, sudarshan kriya, anything that resonates with you, anything that makes you want to do it and makes you feel great. Just giving your body and hair and skin enough oxygen, it's going to show. And there is a whole mechanism that I can speak about, but it works very beautifully. So oxygen is my number 1. Number 2, I definitely believe in food. I definitely believe in nutrition, and I definitely believe in absorption of those nutrients inside the body. So for me, like I said, the key would be copper and B12, but at the same time, you have to know that you can't just take a copper supplement, because that can make you deplete in zinc. If you take a lot of zinc, that can deplete the copper. If you are eating it all together, maybe there is not poor absorption. So you have to take care and you have to be very mindful with the supplementation. But the one thing that I really love with the food and hair especially would be curry patta. Now curry patta is antioxidant, anti-inflammatory, anti-carcinogenic, anti-bacterial, antifungal, antiviral. It has been scientifically proven. Curry leaf is brilliant, and a lot of people, so around South India and everything, you will see they have these thick, coarse, long hair even when the woman is touching 40 and 50. So you always have to go back and see, because these are not the people who are popping biotin supplements all day and they still have better hair than you and I. So there has to be something that is working for them, and there has to be something that is not working with us. So again, using common sense and always keeping in respect the ancient traditional practices and wisdom that comes from our ancestors, it's very important to keep it close. And when we speak about curry patta, it has selenium, it has zinc, it has iron, it has copper. People who are anemic will also benefit a lot from this. Curry patta, it's so versatile. You can literally inhale it, you can apply it, you can ingest it. My favorite form would be to have chutney. So when I have an option between applying something and eating something, I would rather eat it and let it go to all of the trillions of cells inside my body. So that's just how I think. But if you think application is going to help you, curry patta with hibiscus, so say just make curry patta powder. And this is also one beautiful thing about curry patta that can also help with the hair. So this is one property of curry patta, that it is always growing, and that is the same case with the hair. Our hair is also always going through anagen, catagen and telogen. That is three phases that any hair would go through, and this is a very similarity between nature and the human body and the hair that we have. So this is probably one of the reasons why curry patta works for the body. And curry patta powder with hibiscus powder, its paste is going to be brilliant. Curry patta with amla and shikakai, brilliant for hair. Curry patta with coconut oil, so you can make an oil out of it. So just take some coconut oil. It's rich in fatty acids. The fatty acids found in the coconut oil is also going to be really, really helpful, it being antibacterial, antimicrobial, antifungal. So there is a fungus known as malassezia, which can also lead to dandruff, and when your immunity is compromised, your immune system is not able to fight it. So that is where curry patta can help you as well. So take just in lukewarm coconut oil, you can just put some curry patta, you can let it simmer for a while, you can let it cool down, and then you can apply it on your scalp. Keep it say for like 30, 45, 50 minutes. This whole myth of applying oil overnight and then just keeping it all night, it doesn't work. It just gets very dirty and ugly for me. So what I prefer is just keep it for 30-45 minutes, wash it off with a nice shampoo. You can also use moong dal flour, and you can use curry patta powder, mix it well. You can add some lemon juice or apple cider vinegar if you have itchy, scaly scalp, and this really, really works well. My best would be making a chutney out of it. So I think if any one of you who is South Indian and you have a traditional recipe, I think you could share it in the comment section, and a lot of people would benefit from it. But just adding some urad dal, black dal, and tempering it, and then making a powder and putting some dhania, pudina, namak and everything. So make a nice chutney out of it. Have it say like 2 to 3 tablespoons per day, and eventually and slowly it will 100% give you a result. If the problem and the root cause of your gray hair is nutritional insufficiency, okay, it really, really helps. It really works, and it's very important for us that we have an inside out approach. So apply all the paste that I've talked about, but also take care of the inside. Now just curry patta is not going to help, just B12 is not going to help, but this is the first line of action that we would take if we have someone who has premature graying of hair. So I'm kind of hoping that it works and serves you well as well. Of course, along with that, take care of your D3 levels, take care of your iron, take care of your hemoglobin, and just make sure that it's, because a lot of people who are insufficient with ferritin and stuff can have the same issues with the hair and skin. And as I've already mentioned, so also this one point that I've been wanting to touch upon, how does your stress affect your hair? You have to remember, every time you are stressed, your body has to just deviate and redirect all of the minute amount of nutrients that it has towards just coping and not really thriving and surviving. So when you are stressed, it weakens your immune system, and when your immune system is weakened, there is no way that it can fight all of the bacteria and fungus and everything. So that is where the food walks in, and that is where deep breathing and oxygen walks in. Oxygen really strengthens the immune system, it really strengthens the cell, it really alkalizes the body at the correct temperature, and not everything in the body has to be alkaline, so it just takes it down to a correct level. So oxygen, curry patta, B12, copper, zinc, selenium, iron, some things that you should look into if you do have a lot of premature graying of hair. And it's very holistic, it's very wholesome, and if you do all of the things together, I'm very sure that it's going to help you a lot. I hope you have a great day.